Cardinals joint practice just wrapped up in Denver. It's over. It's done, I believe. There was a 2-minute drill that the Cardinals were going to get through, and I think they are done just there. Yep, Mac Wilson's talking to the media, so we'll have plenty of reaction from Denver in the second half of the show. Now, there are other joint practices going on across the National Football League, and one caught your eye, Ron Wolfley. It was between Detroit and Miami. The Dolphins and the Lions met up together, and they didn't really see eye to eye, or more so like personality to personality, DNA to DNA. Here's Detroit Lions linebacker Grant Stewart yesterday on what he thought of the Dolphins after the practice.
I don't know if they're ready, man. I'm going to keep it a stack.
Okay.
Just because I've played at other places and played against that team last year, and I've joined practiced against that team twice when I was in Tampa. And I don't know if they practice how we practice. So I'm excited to see our guys for sure. And I'm excited to get out there, do something against somebody else where they don't know every in and out of what we're doing and stuff.
Exactly.
So that'll be cool, man. It'll be dope.
And Wolf, this is where we want to see what Denver says about Arizona following this practice. What did they make of the Cardinals? What did they make of the intensity and the physicality that they brought? Because it sounded like very much Mr. Stewart thought that the Dolphins weren't going to bring the prerequisite when you come against Detroit.
Yeah, first of all, Masonarians, you have to understand that the Arizona Cardinals of 2025, they're compared to the Detroit Lions. They are compared to Dan Campbell taking over the Lions, winning 4 games, then winning 9 games, and then winning 12 games, as we all know, and suddenly becoming one of the elite teams in the NFL. It was year 3 where they took that big jump. Year 3. They have a culture. The Detroit Lions culture is very, very similar to the Arizona Cardinals and what the Cardinals are trying to build here and the culture they have. That's why this was so fascinating to me. The fact that you had Grant Stewart saying, you know what, hey, we're practicing with them. I don't think they were ready. Listen, I don't know. I haven't seen these practices myself. But if you listen to Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Dolphins, it wasn't like he was disputing what Grant Stewart said.
Not at all. Here's what McDaniel had to say.
I think it was very intentional to bring our organization to Detroit and practice against this team based on the football that they like to play. I think they don't take practice for granted, it appears. I love I love Dan Campbell and his approach. It's very authentic. So I'm expecting people that have intensity to come to practice and challenge the opposing team who will have intensity. So I think it's a good day's work that I'm very, very focused on the football and how we grow in that area, how we handle adversity in a joint. These are all fun things, but it's about the football and nothing else.
Ooh, there it is right there. You know what he wants to see? I want to see my team fight. I want to see my team practice with the intensity the Detroit Lions have. I want to throw it in their face and see how they respond to this. I think it's brilliant. I love Mike McDaniel. I love who he is. I love his philosophy. I love the offense that he runs. Yet at the same time, it looks like he's searching for a culture himself. And the Detroit Lions have it. When you hear him say, I think it was very intentional to bring our organization to Detroit and practice against this team based on the football that they like to play. This is awesome stuff right here, and it's the same kind of thing that we're seeing with the Arizona Cardinals and the Denver Broncos in their joint practice today. Just the physicality. This is what I want to know. When we bring Paul Calvisi on, and Paulie's going to come on, he's going to talk to a sideline reporter, of course, for the Arizona Cardinals. It's about the physicality that I want to know. How physical was it, and how did we do? How did the Arizona Cardinals do with that physicality against a very good team? In particular, I would say on the defensive side of the ball, even though that offensive line is excellent for the Broncos as well. How did they hold up from a physicality perspective? That's what I care about, Killer.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see in terms of what Denver made of the Cardinals specifically. Like, did they leave that practice and they're like, whoa? Not so much watch out for those guys specifically, but watch out for the way that they play, the style that they play specifically. And again, like the violence, physicality, all that kind of stuff, the intensity that they're going to bring, because that is where the comparisons have to start. It's not because stylistically someone runs the same offense as the Detroit Lions, right? It's more so what they do in the guts of the game, as you can call it that the Cardinals are going to have to try to embody. And that can go sort of a long way. That's what I wanted to ask you. In fact, how far does that go when you get a close-up look at a team and you can just see the way that they practice for a day or two? How far does that go into Sundays?
Yeah, the Cardinals are still building that. So to me, we're going to find out how far that is going to go. But it can. This is something that collectively, again, you build. And it starts with one individual, Killer. And then it goes to 2, and then 3, and then it doubles. It's 6, and then 12. It's a culture that takes over, a physicality, and understanding what that physicality is all about, and then applying it to a practice. It's critical for the growth of a football team. And that's why I just want to know how they hold up. I don't know, people are going to say, well, Denver won or the Cardinals won, or I don't care about that. I really don't. Who won the practice? It's practice, man. I want to know who was the more physical
We're talking
team.
About practice,
That's
man.
right, AI. I want to know who was the more physical team, because the Arizona Cardinals have a culture of physicality. So do the Denver Broncos. They're built on that, with the line of scrimmage and that defense being one of the better defenses in the National Football League, and that offensive line for the Broncos as well. This is going to be a great litmus test going forward. And if the Arizona Cardinals went up there and they held up okay, this is going to be a growth spurt for this organization.
And today was the environment where we're going to see it the most until the regular season starts, right? Like, we're not going to see those flashes happen so much in a preseason game. Like, they're much not only harder to identify, but harder to bring out in that situation. You laid it out perfectly in the last hour, just about the environment and the ecosystem that a preseason game provides, as opposed to a joint practice and what it has. Like, we mentioned it earlier in the show, like Tip Ryman saw Elijah Higgins get decked to play before, so he goes out there and brings it as well. A little dust up happens. That's the type of thing that'll happen in those environments that you maybe won't see elsewhere.
Love that, Tip. Way to go. Well done.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.